Hello and welcome to the Voices of Influence, a podcast series where Leadership Through Data and RIMPA bring together thought leaders and experts to discuss a range of topics from AI, education, sustainability, data and information asset management. I'm Jacqueline Stockwell, an award-winning dyslexic entrepreneur and CEO and founder of Leadership Through Data. I empower information leaders globally, focusing on personal and professional development. As an international public speaker, I aim to inspire, motivate and educate in every presentation or podcast delivered. My goal is to continue to make information management training engaging and useful through the use of storytelling and visual aids. In each of these episodes, we're going to be looking at problems and innovative solutions and discuss these with key influencers in various regions. And today I'm super excited to be interviewing the winning hackathon team in relation to the valuing of information assets and their approach to how this can be done and what they need to do to make it happen. So welcome.
Hi.
So Louise, hi. It's so good to have you all.
Be here. It's awesome.
So, Dr. Louise, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Louise Curham. I'm from Curtin University. And the hackathon was a highlight of 2024. From the educator's perspective, it was an opportunity that we just had to grab. The inaugural RIMPA hackathon and the opportunity to give students the experience of working with other professionals, established professionals. Also, of course, many of the students are professionals themselves, which is my handover to Machelle, who was one of the keys of our team. Alicia joined our team, who's quite new in our courses at Curtin. And it was really exciting that she took up this opportunity that was just kind of thrown at her, if you like. And it takes a bit of courage to do that. We weren't mobbed with students, which was something that perplexed RIMPA. Like, why isn't everyone jumping on this? So it will be really interesting to hear Alicia tell you about why she thought it was so great. And Deb played a really important role, bringing decades of experience. Someone for Machelle to bounce off. So we were a distributed team. Alicia and I were online, and Deb and Machelle were in person. Lots going on for all of us. I was catching a plane. I got off the plane to find, oh my goodness, we won. Amazing. So I'll hand over to Alicia to say why she grabbed that opportunity.
Oh, thank you, Louise. So yeah, I'm just going to share my experience of the RIMPA Hackathon for 2024, how I got involved and what the experience was like and what I learned from it. So my background is that I've got a master's in cultural heritage, which means I spend a lot of time thinking about significant value, the historical, social and cultural importance of information. So I'm now studying information and library science, which has a lot of similarities, but also brings in the technical and system-based side of managing information. So it's been really interesting to see how these two fields overlap, especially when it comes to how we define and assess the value of information. Yeah, so I first heard about the hackathon when Louise invited students to join. I immediately put my hand up. I thought it'd be a great opportunity to challenge myself, work with experienced professionals and gain hands-on experience in problem solving. The challenge for the hackathon was how organisations could better assess and forecast value of information assets. So that for me sounded a bit technical, sort of got thrown, like I was in the deep end there. But I think what really made us work as a team was our diversity, and having a fresh take on it might have been helpful to the team because with those diverse mix of skills and perspectives, so John and I were focusing more on making it relatable to different people, while Machelle and Louise and Deb sort of developed the core concept more. So I think that worked really well for our team. The environment was a little intense for me, and it was kind of nice being online because I sort of didn't have to really fret and freak out in the moment. So for me, it was nice to just jump on when I needed to, gave what I saw, my 2 cents to the whole thing and bounce ideas off, but not in a really pressurized way or anything. So that's how I found it being online. I don't know how you felt, Louise, but that was my take on it. One of the biggest surprises was how quickly our team came up with the idea and how we focused on rather than instead of focusing on the technical side, we asked how can we make it accessible to people in different sort of industries. And that's where our mix of skills really showed. Yeah, so John's heat map idea was the turning point. So it gave it a simple visual way to show how information value changes over time. So the balance between technical expertise and user-friendly communication was a real key in our team, I think. So it was really rewarding experience. It reinforced the importance of working with different perspectives, thinking critically and practically about real-world problems and applications. Yeah, whether you're a student like me or an industry professional, I'd really highly recommend joining a hackathon because it's really eye-opening. It's a really great opportunity and you have lots of fun too.
Yep.
So yeah, thank you. I'll pass it on to the next person.
I might take it from Alicia then. I was a student when the call went out to students. I was a student at the time as well as a practitioner in the Australian government public sector. And initially when I saw the invite, I totally ignored it, had no interest in it. And then when Louise kind of sent out another request, I was like, oh, you know, and then she mentioned that it would be really handy to have somebody in person at the convention. And I thought, well, I'm there anyway. You know, I felt I might as well throw my hat in the ring. And then didn't give it another thought until we sort of arrived and then really read the question. And then when I looked at the question, I looked at it pretty much just solely through that hat of a practitioner in the Australian Public Service. And my background before I worked in information management a long time ago was as an accountant. So I think that also added another perspective, like to my government information role. Then I had the accounting role as well. So just to Alicia's point about what it felt like, it did feel like a pressure cooker in some ways, particularly on the first day when we were thrashing the ideas out. It felt really intense. And for me, Deb was a huge godsend because she came along because at that point I was the only one that was online and we had another member, but he was not there all the time. So it was kind of like intense. And then Deb came along and I'll let her tell her story about how she joined, but that she was a godsend to the team. And it was really intense, but it was an opportunity that you don't get as a practitioner. We come up with all these ideas and we see ways to address things, but we just don't get anywhere to land these ideas because we're so busy just in the weeds doing the day-to-day work. And the question really appealed to me as a practitioner because how do we express what we do? Where do we express that value? So if we can value the information assets that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, that would really help, raise funds for projects, give out the work that we do the priority. So yeah, it was intense. And then because we all came with different perspectives, it took a little while to bed down which direction we wanted to go because there were so many ways we could look at it. But that was all that storming thing in probably the first half day. But once we got a vision for where we wanted to go, which was the high level vision was the dashboard of forecasting information, like telling organisation leaders what their information assets are going to be valued at so they can make decisions. It all started to consolidate around that. Yeah, so that's my initial thoughts about the hackathon. It is great to get involved as a practitioner, to get that opportunity to kind of have your say and get your ideas out on the table. So I found that really valuable. So I'll throw to Deb to talk about her experience.
Hi, everyone. My name is Debra Menzies and I'm a Security and Information Manager at a small program within the Capability Acquisition Sustainment Group. I've been an information manager for, well on 30 years, so I'm on my way out. Yay, finally. When I was reviewing how my plans for attending RIMPA, I looked at the hackathon. I thought, I'd love to do that. I didn't have a group of people to go and do it. I mean, Defence is such a wide organisation. We don't talk with each other all the time. So we miss out on a lot of the interaction that we get when we go to RIMPA. So I thought, I'll move on from that. And then when I went to RIMPA, I got there really early. So I'm wandering around, waiting for everything to open up. And I walked past the hackathon. It was set up over to the side. And I walked past it a couple of times. And then I thought, maybe I should see if they need help. So I walked past and I saw this lady there, Machelle, and she was typing madly. And I went up to her and asked her if she needed anybody to help her on a team. And she then pointed to her phone. And I saw that she was in a meeting about the hackathon with the other two ladies, Louise and Alicia. And they were brainstorming the hackathon topic. And as I asked to join, I was able to help with some of the ideas that were being thrown around. John turned up later and we all continued with the brainstorming. I believe that we learnt a lot from each other because everybody has different experiences and different ways of thinking, and the level of cooperation really highlighted what we could have to offer. I believe being at RIMPA was a great experience. And you can talk to people about your issues and how you can overcome them. Some people there have the same problems, and it's really good to be able to solve them. I loved going to this, so that's mine.
Awesome. I think one of the things that Machelle said I think is really significant, which is a chance for practitioners to actually put their stamp on something, to share all the experience they've got with something that is a deliverable. And it's really interesting, Deb's comment about wanting to join a team and it not quite coming together. It took a bit of courage from Curtin to put a team up because we only had 3 of us and the requirement was to have more than that. But we felt that we should just give it a whirl. And I think that's a really important feature of these things. Our industry is both super social and full of lone practitioners. We're a really strange mix between needing a lot of people skills and then also having to do a lot of work solo. And the hackathon is a real chance to get the rich side of teamwork, the most rewarding side of teamwork. And John, one of our members, couldn't be here with us today, who's from the vendor world. And for him, it was really super interesting because, of course, the vendor world's totally different from the kind of environment that Deb and Machelle are working in and that Alicia and I are experiencing. So what was really dynamic was that popping in and out of ideas. Machelle and Deb were kind of hard at the coalface over the whole sort of 12-hour duration of this event. The other 3 of us were dropping in and out, and that gave us the power to crystallize some of the ideas. So I guess the key message for me is, practitioners, jump in if you get the chance. It's your chance to really draw together your experience and share it. New entrants, grab the opportunity. It's your chance to buddy up with practitioners with decades of experience and vendors, people from all different perspectives in the information management space. So, yeah.
So how do people get involved? How do they sign up and get involved?
RIMPA is going to soon have a call out for the Hackathon for 2025, and it's part of the RIMPA Live program. So RIMPA Live is, of course, the Australian Records Management Conference. And to call it records management, we're all looking for what the right language is to describe ourselves. We are the people who bridge technology and information and people in organisations. So we've got so many different titles. It's really hard to settle on what it is, but it's the annual get-together of those of us who do data management, information management, records management, information governance, and it's a really important one. The hackathon's a new component. The other thing our team decided to do was to give the prize to RIMPA to establish a research fund. So we're really excited about that and super proud of that decision. So we hope that that fund will grow bigger than the prize pool.
Brilliant. And I call us information leaders because all in some point we're leaders of information. So that's kind of how I pass us all together. So that was great, guys.
Yeah.
So if you want to kind of reach out, as I said, RIMPA's going to be sending some stuff out for the 2025 hackathon. You can see all these lovely ladies. They're on LinkedIn, so please connect with them on LinkedIn. But thank you so much for all your time today. I'm really grateful. See you soon.